There's a couple sheets. There's an overtime and comp sheet that would make hopefully everybody's overtime and whatnot. And it's fairly simple. Name, hours worked, amount of hours, and reason for the overtime. That way we can go back at any point in time, pull the time cards and know exactly why and what for. Communications between the council and the employees.
I don't have any problem with these.
We have some rate-up issues, and Scott and Gail and I had a conversation today. We looked at some of the past practices.
Are you going to offer a closed session?
Oh, yes. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
We had to give you the opportunity. Yes. But after looking at it this afternoon, I think there's some clarity, hopefully, on both parts. My biggest issue was now, I'm not even going to bring up my biggest issue because I had a gentleman that was going to write a statement, we didn't, so we're going to just drop that. But hopefully, in the future, we can work on this issues of blight and whatnot. The other one was the verbal warning for disrespectful behavior towards a council member. I am willing to drop that if you're willing to give an apology to Phyllis, or excuse me, not Phyllis, Aggie. We have the documents here, they'll be buried, and but to keep the peace, I'm willing to, and the committee is willing to just say, fine.
Problem is I didn't do anything, I did not disrespect her.
No, it wasn't the calling her a name. The disrespect, she asked you a question and you did not answer her. You said, Randy and I got it taken care of. That wasn't an answer.
When was that?
I heard it on one of the tapes. And
so that little bit
no.
shows disrespect.
Well, yeah, but
I mean,
then
that's pretty.
No,
well,
it's. But we're gonna let it go. If you just. Besides, you two are friends.
We're,
no, you will be friends again.
That's fine.
So he was written up, disciplined for not carrying out his duties, specifically on the blight enforcement. There was that. At this point, if I'm in his position, I would not going to chance another write-up. So if he overlooks one possible situation of blight, he's backed into a corner.
No.
I asked what rumors besides the coffee shop talk.
Okay, Scott, maybe in the past, there's been a lot of coffee shop talk, and I can't say one way or the other, but I know at this point that we have not had coffee shop. The piece I want to writing you up for is telling people that we're trying to get rid of the police department.
When I heard it, yep, and I told you and I admitted to it. I talked to people.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know if anybody else heard it.
Well, the same thing with you, Scott. You could have come to us, you could have come to anybody.
But
here.
you heard the same thing.
What?
I've talked to a few people, Deb Lightbrand for one, who said, you pulled up to her and asked her, have you heard anything about Scott Jones?
No, I
She
was
didn't
talking,
specify
that
when,
was part of the conversation, yeah.
the fact of the comment you made about, and I don't remember verbatim about the being an employee since 2002 and all the problems I've caused. And I asked you who you talked to, and you told me all the previous mayors.
Not all.
That's
Most of them.
that is what you said.
He said all.
So I
made a mistake.
I did the exact same thing you did.
There are people, many people who are coming into our community, and maybe along the springtime, just an idea to send out reminders to Elkton residents that, yeah, there's a handbook for living in the village and we should all read it. But many homes are rentals now, and people are in and out, maybe sometimes in the season. So maybe just a blanket mailer to all village residents that the reminders of blight.
I mean, what you consider blight, somebody else might not. I'm just thinking.
I am part of law enforcement. It's in the state, I do the thing. I'm a corrections officer, state of Michigan, don't care, I'm retiring. But I know what law enforcement's all about. And law enforcement is about protection. All the other stuff, to me, is irrelevant. Because I don't want a drug dealer down the street. I don't want somebody driving down my road doing 60 miles an hour to get down to the park or whatever and hit a little kid. That's what I don't want. I want someone who's going to be out there, when I get a B&E going on, or somebody started breaking our houses, because we are in a small town. Everybody thinks small town people are stupid. They don't know what's going on. But you know what? We have homes, and we have families, and we don't need that. The objection of the police department is for protection. A tire to me, or a little tree limb, or anything like that, yeah, it can be annoying as whatever. I understand. I'm not going to use the words I usually do at work. But what I'm saying is that law enforcement of protection for its community and people to be safe is first. And some of this stuff, I've been in the last 2 meetings, I haven't been in more, I'm going to be, because I'm going to run for council.
Good.
But what I'm seeing is that we're missing what the priority is all about.
The thing that got me so worked up was, I was hearing from people and business owners, come across a business owner who said, have you heard all these bad things about Scott Jones? Have you heard all these bad things about the police department? What's going on?
You.
And I said, well, what are you talking about? He said, that chief has got to go. We got to get rid of him. I said, where are you hearing all this stuff? He said, Randy Haley. Every time he comes in, we talk to him. He says, my God, he just attacks and attacks.
All right, who was the
So then
business
I
owner?
started telling, well, the same thing. You don't want to name people.
Or then I
I'm
don't
not
see
gonna-
it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
No, listen, I can talk.
Yeah, we see how you talk.
Oh, yeah, keep it
On
up.
Facebook.
Keep it up.
Just not good.
Well, this is how you treat employees too, just like this, same thing. And then we come to a meeting, oh, there's this kumbaya, this is great, no, we never said that, and that never happened. Everybody go home, but we had a big turnout. And I think that's the only reason we got everything resolved tonight, is we got a big turnout.
We didn't resolve it at this table, this was resolved before we came in here. Scott
It never
didn't know.
should have started.
Well, I can't help that, but we got it resolved before this, and I hope it is to everybody's liking. And if you want to know, Agnes was a big one that talked a lot with us about it. And Agnes was a big help in all this. So if anybody sees her, thank her too. Because it takes a whole council.
For writing up Scott, because she was disrespected, she felt she was, and thank her for dropping it.
Isn't there a grant for that?
We should put in some
There's
stuff
a
to get
partial,
those.
yeah, there's a partial grant, it's
Scott.
15.
We started on that, but then at the last minute, it was withdrawn.
Yeah.
Why was the grant, who withdrew the grant?
I withdrew the grant,
Why?
because in the grant, it wants the village to admit or commit to, money that I can't commit the village to.
You withdrew
I
it,
can
or the
only-
council
I can
withdrew
only-
it?
I can only commit up to $1,000. I take it to the council, and they said, no, let's sit back and wait.
The council said, now you're on the record, the council said to pull the grant? You just said that?
No, I pulled the grant.
On your own without ever?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I can't commit $18,000 debt to this council without their vote.
We got a chief right here and 2 council members. Did we have to commit to a grant to spend $18,000 at an immediate minute that Randy just said in order to have that grant? We had to have that grant pulled? Is that true?
Did we have to have matching funds?
There
No,
was-
it was not, no.
Frankenmuth Credit Union, when I filled it out, I was told it could be a full grant for the whole price of the car or partial. They couldn't tell you until they did their meeting, went through everything. All she could tell me is, like Reese High, she used Reese High School as an example. Reese got $25,000 for a scoreboard for their school. So she felt that there was a good chance we could possibly get the whole grant.
So this wasn't a government grant where we signed something that we were going to be required to come up with this money on this date? It wasn't.
The
It
grant,
was just-
the grant he was asking me to sign was the, DNR, not DNR.
USDA.
USDA. I cannot, as
We're getting
president,
another story. We're getting another story.
But that's not how grants work, though.
Exactly.
That isn't how grants work.
We know that.
So if we, got the grant, we'd have to come up with $18,000.
Or you can refuse the grant if you don't have the money.
Can I ask, how did we even get into the grant? Was the chief directed to start applying for grants? Was the committee directed to apply for grants? Somebody was directed to apply for grants?
research.
Okay, we got yes. And he applied for the grants, and then you on your own decided to cancel them. Right.
Yeah,
never
because
let
I
him
can't
submit the
commit $18,000. Would you sign up a bill for the village for
When you apply
$18,000?
When you apply for a
I
grant,
will.
I would.
I'll sign it
yeah,
myself.
when you apply for a grant, you can
You can
refuse
refuse
it.
it.
Did he let you
There-
apply for either one of them?